Heads up everybody, my name is SentinelGray and welcome to the channel. Doing something a little bit different. I kind of figured that a lot of people didn't read the patch notes to Destiny's newest update with Season of the Lost. And I figure some of the updates are a little lost on people because with the new season coming out, people don't read them, they're too busy grinding, whatever. So, hopefully, moving on in the future, I'm going to make it a thing to where I update everybody on patch notes things, whether they're big or small or whatever. However, if there's only like two things, like a hot fix or something like that, that fixes like one or two things, I probably won't do that. So I'm going to read these off to you, maybe give a little bit of my personal opinions and impressions or whatever, but mainly this is just to get information across. So while you are either on your way to work or at work or just want to listen to this in the background, this is what this is meant for. I will be scrolling through as I read so that you guys can follow along if you would like to read it for yourself. But this is mainly for those people who are doing something else and just kind of want to listen to these patch notes and kind of get an idea on what's going on. Also, thank you Streambeats for being copyright free music and lo-fi as hell, and that's what's on the background, so yeah. But let's get started. Destiny 2 update 3.3.0, August 24th 2021. Activities: raids, Vault of Glass, fixed an issue where the Conflux challenge reward chest didn't grant Spoils of Conquest. Last Wish, fixed an issue where a player revives would be placed in a room that could not be accessed during the Rivet encounter. Also fixed an issue where some players received bird error codes when trying to get to the Wall of Wishes. The Deepstone Crypt, fixed an issue where players could defeat Atrax 1 by attacking a fallen captain well outside of the playable space. For dungeons, Prophecy specifically, Trials of the 9 reprisal weapons will now drop from the Prophecy dungeon. Pretty nice. Nightfall. The Fanatic has been busy. He has judiciously spawned Overload Chieftains and Unstoppable Abominations to help guard the new Nightfall, the Hollowed Lair. The announcement that time is running out in Nightfalls and Legend/Master Lost sectors are now color-coded depending on the player's colorblind settings. Strikes. 2 new disadvantage modifiers have been added to the Vanguard Strike playlist for Season 15 only. Added 2 new seasonal advantage modifiers to the Vanguard Strike playlist. The Corrupted. The Overload Taken Hobgoblin champions during the Ransack Ogre encounter have been replaced with Unstoppable Taken Phalanxes. The Unstoppable Hive Ogre during the Ransack Ogre encounter now moves more freely. Great. Some of the Taken now wield stasis boomer weapons. Great. Fixed an issue where the throwable objects in this strike would fail to clean up if they were left on the ground after being charged up. Ah, man. They now disappear after 20 seconds on the ground or 90 seconds of being held, just like the uncharged version of the object. That's going to be rough. Avakri, the Temple Claimant, is now a champion combatant on Master and Grandmaster difficulty. Oh, that's that. That's the Taken Vandal. Insight Terminus. The capture plate encounter halfway through the strike will now always spawn a set number of champions no matter how long it takes to capture the plate. 1 champion on Legend, 2 champions on Master and Grandmaster. Hollow Lair. The Fanatic's Ravagers now wield stasis sensors instead of solar sensors. Lost Sectors. Dreaming City. All 3 Dreaming City Lost Sectors are now available on Legend and Master difficulty. Availability. Season 15 has a rotation of 11 Lost Sectors available on Legend and Master difficulty. Lost Sectors will be on a seasonal rotation moving forward. Scavengers Den. The boss of this Lost Sector is now a boss type combatant when playing on Legend or Master difficulty. That'll help with Vorpal Weapon. Tooltip. Legend and Master Lost Sectors descriptions now list the shield elements that will be encountered, which is actually really nice. Legend and Master Lost Sector descriptions have been reformatted for ease of reading. Thank you. Legend and Master Lost Sectors now have destination modifiers. The following modifiers have all been removed: Memory of a Golden Age, Memory of a Bygone Past, Memory of a Haunted Dream, Memory of a Lonely Outpost, and Memory of a Frozen Conundrum. Forlorn Miasma, renamed to Void Burn. Isolated Flames, renamed to Solar Burn. And Desolate Charge, renamed to Arc Burn. That's gonna actually really make things a whole lot easier. Oh man, changes I didn't know I needed. UI changes. In general, fixed an issue where the Gambit post-game scoreboard would not propagate. Is that paginate correctly? Sorry. Added elements to the Vanguard subscreen in the director menu to represent the player's Vanguard reputation. When a player has incoming friend invites, they are indicated in orbit and directory tabs by a new invite indicator / shine. Inspect player terminology changed to Inspect Guardian. Player waypoint title gilding count now shown at all times, including before the season's title has been gilded. In other words, you will now see the number of times your title has been gilded, even when it reverts to its purple state at season reset. Settings. Social settings, Fireteam Privacy, Fireteam Invites, and Friend Requests have been moved to a sub-tab on the roster. Invite notification settings have been updated / fixed. Gamepad sprint turn scale settings added. This is for traction, for those of you who did not know. Controller ADS sensitivity modifier added. All right. Text chat auto hide settings set to off by default. Crossplay. Bungie name. Bungie name replaces platform name. On login, players' Bungie name will be set based on the name they're using on the system they first log in on. The player's platform name is displayed in the player's nameplate tooltip. Bungie Friends. A Bungie Friends list has been introduced to help bridge the gap across platforms. Would really like to have like some sort of last played with or, you know, alphabetical. Blocking players. An action is available when interacting with other players to block them and limit their ability to interact with you within Destiny 2. Blocking within Destiny 2 only blocks in-game communication. Please use the helpful pop-up or view Bungie help articles for additional steps to take to block players from interacting with you outside the game. Roster. A player's platform is displayed beside their Bungie name on the roster. Bungie Friends have a watermark behind their badge name on the roster. It's the fist with the lightning bolt. Player detail screen. A player's cross-save linked platform names are shown when viewing their player detail screen. So you can see if you have different names on every single platform, you'll be able to see all of them, what they are known as on each platform, which is actually really nice. Filter by platform screen. A dedicated tab has been added to the roster to filter connections down to your shared platform family. Invite management screen. A dedicated tab has been added to the roster to viewing incoming Fireteam invites, Bungie friend requests, and clan invites. Social preferences screen. A dedicated tab has been added to the roster to house multiple settings related to who can join your Fireteam, send you Fireteam invites, or send you Bungie friend requests. Friend search. A section has been added to the invite management screen for friend search. Players can now search for friends using their full Bungie name ID. Friendly players' full Bungie name and platform is displayed in their waypoints on Interact. Whenever they say Bungie name ID, we're talking about full entire thing. So for me, it would be SentinelGray #5235. That's the whole thing. Armor. Moving into more gameplay stuff. New features. Stasis has been added as an armor energy type, along with a suite of base mods that use the Stasis armor energy type. New combatant style or new combat style mods featuring more elemental well mechanics have been added to the game. Ghost mods. A new suite of ghost mods have been added to the game that guarantees a minimum stat value of 10 in the chosen character stat anytime you acquire a piece of gear that has random stats. So basically, if you were to put on the strength mod on the ghost, every single piece of armor that is randomly rolled for you will drop with at least 10 strength. Kind of helps people farm for specific stats if they want to. Holster mods. This is a new type of leg armor that will gradually reload stowed weapons of the matching type over time. Multiple copies of holster mods of the same type will increase the rate ammo is reloaded. This does not apply for any weapons that have one round in the magazine, so rocket launchers, breech-loaded grenade launchers, that type of thing. It will not work. They do not have them. Bug fixes. Fixed an issue where a grenade thrown from a player wielding or wearing Ashen Wake could damage allies. Well, that's not good. Fixed an issue where Crest of Alpha Lupi could create orbs on stasis kills outside of Super. Alright. Fixed an issue where some Warmind cells would not have their duration increased by Warmind's longevity. Fixed a bug where melee damage resistance was incorrectly counting as an arc mod. Alright. Exotic balance changes. Super regenerating exotics. Shards of Galanor increase the amount of super granted for hits, but total super regain is now capped at 50. Ursa Furiosa, cap the amount of super energy you can regain once your super ends at 50. Skull of Dire Ahamkara, increase the amount of super refunded per kill, but total super gain is capped at 50. Phoenix Protocol, cap the amount of super energy you can regain at once your super ends at 50%. Storm Dancer's Brace now also refunds up to 50% of your super energy after your super ends based on the number of kills. Geomag Stabilizers removed sprint to top off your super. If you watch or if you pay attention to the TWAB, you knew all this stuff was happening. Hunters. The Bombardiers. The bomb now has a secondary effect based on your subclass type. Blinding for arc, burn for solar, slow for stasis, and suppress for void. Graviton Forfeit. Increase the bonus invisibility duration. The melee regeneration speed now increases based on the number of enemies you're near, or are near you. While you are invisible, your recovery is greatly increased and your weapons reload more quickly. Lucky Pants. Added intrinsic hand cannon holster mod. Replaced previous functionality with the following. When you ready a fully loaded hand cannon that deals kinetic damage or damage matching your subclass energy type, for a short time, each hit against a combatant from that hand cannon increases the damage of the next shot. People have already done stupid things with this, with things like Last Word and Crimson. You can get some insanely free damage from this thing. For Titans, Precious Scars will now also create a burst of healing and bonus recovery around you whenever you kill an enemy with a weapon whose damage type matches your subclass type. Icefall Mantle, remove the slower class ability recharge scalar. For Warlocks, Verity's Brow, change to trigger when you get a weapon kill that matches your subclass energy type. Increase damage or increase grenade damage bonus to 20% per stack, up from 10%. The Stag grants damage reduction to allied guardians standing in your rifts. 25% against combatants, 15% against players. Prometheum Spur has additional functionality. While standing in a rift, solar weapon kills give you class ability energy. When your class ability energy is full, solar weapon kills consume that energy and spawn a combination healing and empowering rift at the target's location. Still not clear yet. I don't know off the top of my head whether that the target is considered the person who you killed or the target is considered you, the player. Not entirely sure about that yet. Mod changes. Ammo Finder. now have an increased chance to spawn ammo on kills with primary weapons and a further increased chance with exotic primaries. Ammo finder mods for weapons that only use primary ammo have been depreciated. Scavenger. Multiple copies of Scavenger mods of the same type no longer stack. Scavenger mods for weapons that only use primary ammo have been depreciated. Capacity mods for weapons that only use primary ammo have been depreciated. The reason why this is all these depreciated things for primary ammo is because, just in case you don't know, we now have unlimited primary ammo in Destiny across the board. If it takes primary ammo, has unlimited amount. Warmind cells. Base Warmind cells. Reduce the radius of the explosion/effect range of Warmind cells from 10 meters to 6 meters. Reduce damage of the explosion of Warmind cells, previously 200 to 400, now from 50 to 250. Global reach. Increase the mod cost of global reach to 3. I don't know what it was previously. Reduce the amount of reduce the amount of radius increase from 20 to 10. So it used to increase the radius by 20 meters. Now it just does by 10. Cellular suppression. Reduce the duration of the suppressing effect. God, I can't talk. When using cellular suppression from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. Wrath of Rasputin. Reduce bonus solar damage. Previously 100 to 200. Now 25 to 100. Elemental wells. Elemental armaments now has an increased chance to spawn an elemental well based on the tier of the enemy defeated. Font of Might's base duration has been increased to 10 seconds and increased the damage bonus provided from 10% to 25%. For those builds that have Font of Might, that's actually going to be really good. Weapons. Global. Fixed an issue that allowed players to swap weapons substantially faster than normal, otherwise known as hot swapping. Controller sensitivity. Added additional controller sensitivity options. 1 to 10 sensitivity is the same as before. 11 to 20 increases over that. Added an ADS sensitivity modifier. Allowed values 0.5 to 1.5. Primary ammo. All primary ammo weapons now have infinite ammo. Drop mag. Reworked to be plus reload speed minus magazine size. Compact arrow shaft reworked to be plus reload plus handling. Trials of Osiris. All Trials weapons now have 7 perks in each column. Was 5. Like what they can drop with. Moon and Dreaming City reissues. Added 1 or 2 of the original perks to each column for the Moon weapons reissued in this update. The Lectern weapons only. Since these can be target farmed, we're okay with increasing the size of the pools in this particular case. Added one of the original perks, added one of the original perks, 1 or both columns of the Dreaming City weapons reissued in this update. Tiger's Bite, Twilight Oath, and Abide the Return. Since these can't be target farmed, we didn't want to increase the size of the pools by more than 1. Fix the previews from the quest from these weapons showing a sunset reward. The reward itself was already correct. Archetypes. Oh boy. We're not even halfway done with this thing. Holy hell. Breech-loaded grenade launchers. Note. Exotics. Receive these changes as written unless otherwise mentioned in the exotics section below. Breech-loaded grenade launchers. Reduce the blast radius by 0.4 meters. Max blast radius decreased from 4.55 to 4.15. Minimum blast radius decreased from 3.80 to 3.40. Reduce splash damage by 20, which reduces total damage for a direct hit from 220 to 200 before taking spike and proximity nades into account. Increased damage in PvE by 12%. Wither Horde is unaffected. From what they said before, these changes here basically keep breech-loaded grenade launchers where they are currently in PvE, but kind of nerf them for PvP so they're not as easy to use. Machine guns increase damage to PvE by 20%. Scout rifles and hand cannons increase damage versus miners by 15%. Fusion rifles, this is the big one. Increased PvE damage bonus such that all subfamilies are at 15% PvE bonus. Previously, high impact was at 0, precision and adaptive were at 10, and rapid fire were at 12.5. Pushed subfamilies further apart, adjusting charge time, shots fired per burst was 7 for all subfamilies, and damage. Note that the base below means without battery perks, a charge time asterisk, or the adept charge time mod. High impact frames. Base charge time increased from 0.86 seconds to 1 second. Shots per burst reduced from 7 to 5. Reduced total damage per burst. Precision and adaptive. Base charge time is unchanged. Shots per burst is unchanged at 7. Very slightly increased total damage per burst. Rapid fire. Base charge time decreased from 0.54 to 0.46. Shots per burst increased from 7 to 9. Increased total damage per burst. Fusion rifle perk changes. Backup plan. Removed plus 100 to charge time stat. Adjusted change to charge time multiplier from 0.85 to 0.7. Now scales damage by 0.8. Liquid coils and accelerated coils both converted to scale charge time and damage instead of modifying the charge time stat. The adept charge time mod changed functionality to scale charge time directly instead of changing the charge time stat without adjusting the damage. So, just in case you don't know, charge time directly affects damage now. Exotics. Anarchy, the big one. Reduce total reserve plus magazine amount from 26 to 16. Can only hold 16 shots in total, that is including the mag. Reduce damage by 30% versus bosses. Champions are not considered bosses, so this is going to still work in Grandmasters. Xenophage, reduced fire rate from 120 to 90 RPMs. Fighting Lion. Fighting Lion ammo increased from a lot to infinite. Receives the same changes as other breech-loaded grenade launchers. Reduced base reload stat to 0. Now increases reload speed to its previous level on damaging multiple enemies with one grenade. Vex Mythoclast. PvE damage bonus increased by 40%. Range increased to exceed best in class for 360 high impact auto rifles. Increased stability. Reworked catalyst to grant stability and damage after a kill. Increased fire or increased rate of fire from 360 to 390. Reduced linear fusion rifle mode charge time from 820 to 533. Same as a standard linear fusion rifle. No longer loses overcharge stacks on stow except when in linear mode. Merciless. Updated perk to account for fewer shots per burst. Should build up charge rate at the same amount per burst as before. Reduce the damage penalty for increasing charge rate by 40%. Yotan. Reduce charge time from 0.82 to 0.78. Charges 0.04 seconds faster. Slightly reduced damage per shot. Bastion. Reduced damage by 15%. Can now not quite kill a guardian with one shot in the 3 bursts it fires. Increase spread angle by 10%. Increase PvE damage by 25%. So overall around a 10% increase in PvE. Sweet business. Now refills magazine on pickups of special and heavy ammo instead of primary, because we don't have primary anymore. Perks. Firing line. Reduced damage bonus to 20% precision damage for all supported weapon archetypes. Was highly variable depending on the weapon type. Will roll on some sniper rifles, linear fusion rifles, and machine guns, and maybe some other stuff in the future. Certain damage perks only affect impact damage on explosive weapons. We've updated these specific perks to also increase detonation damage. Kill clip and rampage. Adrenaline junkie fixed incorrect rarity on some recently shipped weapon perks. I don't honestly think perks have a rarity system, but in case they do, there it is. Other bug fixes. Fixed an issue where muzzle flash on the forward path auto rifle could cause photosensitivity issues. Good. Fixed an issue where mini tool and Drang didn't show kill tracking column when masterwork. Good. Fixed an issue where Adept Big One spec mod was not appearing in collections once acquired. Fixed an issue where grenade launchers were damaging certain types of objects. Power and progression. Power bands increased. Power floor still remains at 1100. Soft cap is now 1270, up from 1260. Powerful cap is now 1320, up from 1310. And the hard cap is 1330, up from 1320. I call it pinnacle cap, but whatever, doesn't matter. XP made XP rewards more descriptive. You can now get a general understanding of how much XP a bounty or seasonal challenge will give you from its description rather than it just previewing XP. Reward tiers, smallest to largest are XP, XP plus, XP plus plus, Challenger XP, Challenger XP plus, Challenger XP plus plus, and finally Challenger XP plus plus plus. Jesus, guys, come on. Bounties and pursuits. Fixed an issue where Dreaming City bounties with gear rewards would sometimes not drop gear. These bounties can no longer roll Shattered Throne specific perks when claimed within the dungeon. Synth Strand is no longer used to purchase armor synthesis bounties from 801. Armor synthesis bounties will now cost 10,000 glimmer each, and Synth Strand will no longer drop in game. All remaining Synth Strand in inventories can be safely dismantled as it will no longer be used for any system in the future. So get rid of them if you have them. Reputation. Valor is now known as Crucible ranks. Infamy is now known as Gambit ranks. Vanguard reputation internal systems have been rebuilt, aligning with that of Crucible and Gambit reputations. Increased amount of Vanguard reputation given for completing Nightfalls on Platinum, Gold, or Silver. Higher tier Nightfalls get a flat multiplier to all Vanguard rep gains. Crucible, Gambit, and Vanguard reputations now use a ritual activity streak system. You gain streak for finishing ritual activities, you lose streak for quitting out or KTOing, and your streak resets if you play something besides the ritual's activities. Okay. Orbit, Tower, and the Helm do not trigger a reset. The previous win streak bonus, aside from glory, has been removed. Vanguard, Crucible, and Gambit reputations now cap out at 10,000, and all tuning values have been adjusted to that. Removed Crucible and Gambit gains from all bounties. Okay. ×3 multipliers have been removed. Reputation boost weeks are now use a 2x multiplier all 7 days. Glory floors work like they did prior to season 14. Each rank below Fabled 1 should not allow negative progress to de-rank you below that rank. Got it. So it's really weird seeing the phrase glory floors in patch notes, but you know what? Here we are. Eververse. Upsells for the new experience are now included in the Eververse campaign tab. The current season is now also available for purchase in the season tab. Select items in the archive now feature most popular callouts. Third person peeking. While in competitive game modes, trials, elimination, and survival, performing an emote will remain in first person. While in competitive game modes, trials, elimination, and survival again, players are now unable to swap to a sword if they do not have heavy ammo. If players run out of heavy ammo while holding a sword, they'll automatically swap to their primary weapon, which is good. Abilities. Stasis freeze. Players can now initiate breakout while airborne. Previously had to wait until they hit the ground. Shortened breakout animation and camera transition. Differentiated long freeze and short freeze visual treatment to make each status easier to identify. Glacier Grenade. Grenade projectile now bounces off other projectiles instead of detonating on impact, which is actually really nice. Stasis crystals. Fixed a bug in which damage dealt to your own crystals was being factored into the damage dealt stat in the Crucible. Oh, okay. Whisper of Rhyme. Fixed a bug with Whisper of Rhyme in which the overshield it provided was not scaling precision damage correctly. Okay. Slide. While you're sliding, players now incur the following weapon penalties. Minus 20 stability, plus 15% shotgun pellet spread. 1.5 times flinch. Air movability such as shadow dive can no longer be performed while sliding. I didn't even know that could happen in the first place. Holy hell. Titans, Rally Barricade. Standing behind the Rally Barricade now also improves the following, now provides the following weapon buffs. Plus 30 stability, plus 10% range, minus 50% flinch. All barricades. Players moving at high velocity now take more damage when moving through hostile Titan barricades. Barricades now slightly protrude into the ground to better protect Titan's feet on uneven ground, which is actually really nice. Behemoth. Cryoclasm. While equipped, base slide now shatters crystals and frozen enemies. Increased duration of screen effects notifying players that Cryoclasm long slide is ready from 1 second to 4.5 seconds. Howl of the Storm. Fixed the bug in which using mouse and keyboard with hold sprint can prevent Titan's Howl of the Storm ability from activating. Shiver Strike. Increased movement speed by 25%. Reduced likelihood of early cancellation when used on the ground. Glacial Quake. Fixed an issue where Glacial Quake would sometimes fail to heavy attack immediately after recovering from a previous heavy attack. Alright. Sunbreaker. Middle Tree Sunbreaker. Throwing Hammer. Increased time before hammer explodes after hitting the ground from 6.5 seconds to 10 seconds. Can now be shot and destroyed in flight and when lying on the ground. Oh, so you can actually destroy the hammers now. Hammer cannot be picked up for 0.5 seconds after throwing it. Increased damage versus powerful PvE combatants by 50%. People were like one-shotting Atheon with this. It was a little nuts. I say one-shotting, but it's basically just hitting him a few times and stacking the damage. Striker. Fist of Havoc. Increased slam detonation radius by 14%. Reduced slam damage fall off. Reduced slam attack activation cost from 21% to 18%. Middle Tree Striker. Inertia Override. Increased duration from 4 seconds to 6 seconds. Sliding over a brick of ammo now grants 20% melee energy. Sentinel. Top Tree Sentinel Ward of Dawn. Increased damage taken from bosses from 0.25 to 7 times. 0.25 times to 7 times. At 0 resilience. Damage taken can scale down to 0.25 times based on the owner's resilience stat. Notice this refers to the Ward of Dawn bubble, not the players inside the bubble. So what this means, real fast for those of you that do not know, that the lower your resilience, the less damage that the actual Ward of Dawn can take. This is the same thing for the Well of Radiance for Warlocks. They'll probably go over that too. It's the same thing. Hunters. Revenant, Silence and Squall. Increased Squall movement speed by 20%. Silence detonation, PvP freeze impulse now grows over time to match VFX. Squall Storm now stops when it touches a boss. Oh yeah, so it just stays there. Withering Blade, increased projectile speed and tracking by 10%. Shadow Dive, fixed a bug in which players can cancel out of Shadow Dive to keep player momentum while sliding off a ledge. Gunslinger, Middle Tree Gunslinger, Knife Trick, increased burning duration from 3 seconds to 4 seconds. Knife projectiles now come out slightly quicker. Top Tree Gunslinger, 6-shooter. Damage fall off now starts at 25 meters instead of 20 meters. Arcstrider Arc Staff, extended passive super duration from 16 seconds to 20 seconds. Increased heavy slam detonation radius from 5 meters, to 6 meters. Increased damage versus PvE combatants by 33%. Top Tree Arcstrider, Deadly Reach, increased duration from 8 seconds to 10 seconds, now displays time remaining. Middle Tree Arcstrider, Lightning Weave, dealing damage with Tempest Strike now procs Lightning Weave. Timer can now be extended by dealing damage with any weapon, now displays time remaining. And Whirlwind Guard, fixed an issue where Arcstrider's Whirlwind Guard was not properly blocking incoming damage from trace rifles. Finally, for Hunters, Night Stalker, Top Tree Night Stalker, Vanishing Step now displays time remaining. Middle Tree Night Stalker, Spectral Blades reduces damage reduction during super from 52% to 47%. Reduced additional damage reduction when invisible from plus 5% to plus 3%. Warlocks, Shadebinder, Winter's Wrath Super. Reduce the Shatter Pulse damage versus close range supers. Warlocks must now freeze and shatter twice to defeat players in Burning Maw, Fist of Havoc, Sentinel Shield, Nova Warp, Arc Staff, or Spectral Blades, with the exception of Glacial Quake. Bleak Watcher, improve the Bleak Watcher's ability to detect enemies at certain angles. Dawn Blades, Top Tree Dawn Blades, Celestial Fire, reduce tracking cone angle. Arming Shape, proximity detonation now shrinks over time. Reduce detonation size by 1 meter. Damage fall off increased at short distances. Icarus Dash now provides 1 air dodge every 4 seconds, while under the effects of Heat Rises increased to 2 dodges every 5 seconds. Heat Rises, increased duration from 10 seconds to 15 seconds, increase the amount of time extended on air kills. The amount differs based on types of enemies. Your location now appears on enemy radars when using Heat Rises. That's literally at all times. You actually show up. I was able to see this in a Gambit match. You actually show up as a vehicle, like how you would see a sparrow running around. Same exact thing. Middle Tree Dawnblade, Well of Radiance. Increased damage taken from bosses from 0.25 times to 1.5 times at 0 resilience. Damage taken can scale down to 0.25 times based on the owner's resilience stat. Note, this refers to the Well of Radiance sword or orb object and not the buff applied to the well. So this is the whole entire thing that I was talking about before. For Titans, it's your whole entire bubble. For Warlocks, it's the sword. So you can actually destroy the sword a whole lot easier if Warlocks do not have enough resilience. Same thing with enemies too, because I'm pretty sure enemies can kill the sword as well. So this is going to make the resilience stat a whole lot more important. Increased damage resistance buff versus enemy players from 20 to 40%. Players inside Well of Radiance can no longer be frozen or slowed by stasis. Sword can now be frozen and shattered by stasis. Players can shoot through the energy stem of the center of the well. The orb and the sword will still take damage / block bullets. Guiding Flame, increased duration from 7 seconds to 10 seconds. Increased damage buff from 20% to 25%. And Divine Protection now displays time remaining. Bottom Tree Dawnblade, Phoenix Dive, reduced delay before a dive starts. Can now input a direction to dive in that direction. It's actually really useful now. Igniting Touch, ability rework. Solar ability kills on burning targets now cause targets to explode and burn other nearby enemies. Charged melee now places a burn on the target. Increased detonation radius from 6 meters to 7 meters, and that is 9 meters with Dawn Chorus. Stormcaller. Middle-tree Stormcaller. The Arc Beam. Increased beam environment collision size to better match collision size with damage size. This should lead to less instances to dealing damage to enemies on the other side of a wall. Reduce beam damage radius in PvP by 20%, and reduce beam endpoint sphere radius in PvP by 33%. All that this means for you out there who use Middle Tree Stormcaller in PvP, all you have to do is be more accurate. That's all it means. Bottom Tree Stormcaller, Arc Soul, increased duration from 12 seconds to 13 seconds, and increased fire rate by 10%. This is actually pretty good. Electrostatic Surge now increases sprint speed when allies are near. Landfall now fires 5 arc ground projectiles on cast. Just as a heads up, for those of you who do not know, I did see a video for Landfall on Bottom Tree Stormcaller. Just the landfall itself, if you're using it in PvP, can break a Titan shield. Ward of Dawn, sorry. Voidwalker, Middle Tree Voidwalker, Nova Warp, increased damage versus PvE combatants by 73%. No longer slows movement speed while charging / charged. Now detonates on cast. Handheld Supernova, increased damage versus PvE combatants by 100%. Increased hold time from 2.5 seconds to 3.2 seconds. So this is going to make Nova Warp a bit more dangerous in PvE. I've yet to try it out. Platform and systems. General DualSense controllers are now supported natively on PC. General. And now for the kitchen sink. Sparrows from past lives now correctly reset the summoning cooldown when destroyed. Destiny timeline. This is important. This is actually really cool. A new timeline screen will be introduced to highlight a player's ownership of expansions and seasons in a visual way that feels valuable, desirable, and an integral part of the player's permanent experience. The timeline screen will also provide players the ability to immediately take action where ownership status of expansions and season passes is incomplete. Stasis acquisition. The first two stasis aspect pursuits have had some objectives reduced, and steps requiring the stasis exotic grenade launcher have been removed. Stasis pursuits and fragments that have not been unlocked can be seen in the Exo Stranger vendor, with notes on how to unlock access to them. The Deadeye title seal has been added. Deadeye title seal supports gilding. Emblem stat tracker has been added to track the number of times the seal has been gilded. And finally, fixed an issue where the K1 crew quarters Flawless Solo Triumph had its name and description mixed up. So that is going to be it for all the patch notes. I know this video went super long, but there is a lot to go through. 100% though, if you guys are still here, if you guys are still listening, first of all, I really do appreciate it. The other thing too is if you enjoy these, if you enjoy me reading these, please let me know, because I will do more of these in the future where I'll just read through the whole entire thing so you guys don't have to. And you can, like I said, basically like listen to it while you're in the car, while you're at work, whatever. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you like the video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. If you want to catch me on stream, I stream every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. You can catch me over on Twitch. I'll have a link for that in the description box down below. But seriously, thank you guys. I'll see you all next time. Remember to keep your heads up and be kind to each other. Bye now.